Hello, my diamonds and my TikTokers and my Teletubbies. SheilaTruelove here with you this fine Saturday. Yes, it's Saturday. You know, you have women who say that they won't even date a man who doesn't have a good relationship with his children, even if his children are adults. How do you feel about that? I think that men who abandon their children, they do deserve the very pits of hell. Let me share this here with you with Yada Awakening. There are sometimes when he speaks with sense, and he speaks with things that are very useful, and he speaks truth in this instance. Let me share.
Louisiana's new. You have the audacity to abandon your own children, then get into a relationship with another woman and put her children on a pedestal. How sick can you be? To turn your back on your own bloodline. You are a devil in the flesh. You are a monster of the mind. You are a walking, talking virus. Your children over here missing you. Your children over here having mental breakdowns. Your children over here saying, Mommy, why don't Daddy love me? Why don't Daddy come over here? Why don't Daddy call me? And you're over here taking pictures and posting them on social media with another woman and her children. You're not a man. And those children should forget about you, because you're going to curse every step that you take while you're on this planet Earth. Any man that abandons his children and uplifts someone else's will never be successful and deserves the lowest parts of hell. All praises due to the Most High.
Well, I agree, and it depends on what you call successful. Because as far as I'm concerned, because you have some men who have abandoned their children and they're living the life of Riley. But what I consider to be successful is when you have peace. When you have true peace, tranquility, joy, not just happiness, but you have that inner joy. And when you have a good relationship with your Creator. So he made some really valid points here when it comes to how can you abandon your own children and go and take care of someone else's children. And that's why I feel so strongly when it comes to parents who stay on the job. And this is why you always hear me give great praise to single parents. As adult children, it's easy to forget that our parents, our mothers usually who stay on the job, they're human too. They make mistakes and they have feelings, and they deserve to be forgiven just like anyone else. I see so many adult children holding on to grudges, and they're being hard on their parents, mostly their mother, because you see Dad, he picked up and he was out. He was gone. But they're holding grudges against their parents for things that happened in the past, and a lot of the times, these adult children tend to exaggerate, extremely exaggerate. But here's the thing, holding on to that anger and resentment, it doesn't hurt just your parents, but it hurts you too. And it weighs you down, and it prevents you from moving forward in your own life. So I always encourage adult children, and I have spoken to several adult children who have gone back to their mom. And they said, Miss Truelove, thank you so much, because me and my mom, we back, we tight. We did some counseling, or we sat down and we talked things through. And I've had this happen at least 6 times where they said, thank you so much. Because you see, a lot of these men, they don't care. So the next time you feel like being unforgiving or hard on your mother, take a step back and think about how your parents must feel, the one who stayed. Because I was almost ready to support these runaway fathers, because I'm looking at how the one who stays and how they're not appreciated. So we have to strive to be more compassionate towards our mothers, and it's never too late to mend these relationships and create a stronger bond. But I want to share another video with you, and this young lady is making a lot of sense when it comes to before you have children. I always recommend that you don't have children and take care of the children that are already here. And here's the reason why. This lady, she's young. And like I'm saying, this generation, this generation today,
You have the
they don't have any excuse for the kind of mistakes that they're making. Listen to this young lady. She is another brilliant. I'm very impressed.
I seen a young lady on TikTok yesterday having a nervous breakdown, mental breakdown, crisis, just crying her eyes out, just saying how she's a single mom, how she doesn't receive any help from the dad. The baby is 18 months. He doesn't want anybody but her. He's attached to her. She can't drop him off at the daycare. She wants to work out. She wants to do the things that she wants to do, but she can't because she feels like she's stuck in mommy mode 24/7. And although I sympathize with her, because being a single mom is not an easy task at all. If you are a single mom, we all know that it's a job within itself. But my thing is this with women. I don't understand, why are y'all so quick to have kids? I don't understand why y'all are so quick to have kids. People ask me all the time, you only got just one kid? And yeah. You want more? I'm not opposed to it, but the situation got to make sense. And I think where a lot of women go wrong is...
I agree with her when she says the situation have got to make sense. Like, I don't think that women should be having children with men who's making less than 6 figures. So that way, if something happens to this man, he could die today or tomorrow. You have to be prepared for that. But we have to also keep in mind, and this is something that I'm hoping that this beautiful young lady, she takes into consideration. Just because you're riding high in April, it don't mean you'll be riding high in May. Unforeseen occurrences happen all the time. And you have to understand, I'll get back to you. Okay. She's making a lot of sense, though.
Y'all lack to evaluate your reality. Y'all lack to take accountability for your reality. A lot of y'all say things like, well, he wasn't like that. Somebody told her, like, you signed up for this. You know what come with it. She shoots back and say, oh, well, I guess I signed up to be a single mom. I guess that's what I signed up for. It's not even so much as you signing up to be a single mom. It's the fact that y'all do not fully evaluate what it truly takes to raise a child. A child is a human being. That's a whole person. You are responsible for everything this person does up until the age of 18. You gotta start pre-asking yourself, if this does not work out with him, am I okay with the outcome? If for any reason he passes away, am I okay raising this child alone? If for any reason he goes to jail, am I okay to raise this child alone? Do I have what it takes to raise this child financially? Do I have what it takes to raise this child mentally? Do I have the good spirits to give and push off into this child as far as vibrations and energy? Do I have what it takes to...
And she's absolutely right. And like I said, with all the information that this generation has today, always take these kind of things into consideration. But I'm from generation, the baby boomers. We didn't have all of this stuff here. And I was married. I wasn't just married. I was very, very married. And when you're married, you don't think you're going into marriage and it's going to end up in a divorce. You're not thinking like that. My husband, he had an amazing job. He was a truck driver back then. He was making $800 and $900, between $700 and $900 a week. And back then, that was great money. But things change. When my children were 4 and 5 years old, I was put in that position of being a single mother. And it was hard. So you may go in and things are good, especially if you were married. I mean, come on. I could understand if you're just laying up with dudes who's not your husband and you decided to have these children, and some women be having like 2, 3, 4, 5. What?
Do it by myself if life requires me to do it by myself. If you have to double think any of those answers, then you should not be having a child.
I agree.
Y'all have kids based off your feelings. Y'all make these large life decisions based off how you feel. Based off how somebody makes you feel. I like him. I love him. A lot of y'all are attached to people. So you want that attachment for forever. Not realizing that things change, people change.
Hello?
And that's okay.
Hello? I look at it every day with my clients. You know, I do my story time. And when these people got married, they were so deeply in love and everything was just gravy. But people change, baby. Things change. Situations change. So I agree with her. You have to make sure that you are mentally, emotionally, financially prepared before you decide to bring children into this world. There's more than enough children in this world already. And I think we are well aware that it takes a village to raise children. Why don't we focus on taking care of the kids that are already here? Becoming godparents. Because just because things are going great for you right now, especially when you look at the economy now, the millennials, the Generation Z, they can't afford to do much of anything.
But I'm not about to just be having people's children because I love him in that moment. I like him in that moment. I want to be with him in that moment. Or I want to make her mad. I want to let her know that I was sleeping with her dude and she gonna see me 9 months later. Or you know what, since he broke up with me, I'm gonna keep this baby and I'm gonna put him on child support. And you know what, I could use them extra funds. So I'm gonna keep the baby. That's a little bit of extra cushion and security because he gonna get put on child support. What are the true reasons y'all are having these children, bringing these people into the world? And then when things don't go out the way that y'all wanted to, work out the way that y'all wanted to, the only person left to suffer is the child, who then grows up to be an adult who now has all type of abandonment issues and trust issues and don't know how to love because they didn't receive love because their mom wasn't never showing.
And that's true, and it's not necessarily that the mother wasn't showing love, because you have a lot of children who require a lot. And especially if a mother is raising more than one child, she has to know how to juggle her time to try to pour into each of these children. Now, keep in mind, your children have different personalities. So you have to treat them differently. And then you have children who grow up without their father, even though you were married. And they still grow up with daddy issues and abandonment issues. And when they become adults, that's something that is their responsibility now, for them to put themselves in the necessary therapy, finding these support and these social groups who can help build you up and show you how to get past all of these things. You can't keep blaming mom. But she's on point when she says, what's going through your head when you're laying up here having all of these damn kids? On my channel, I promote staying single. I do, because it's easier. It's less stressful, and it's less complicated. But she's got so many excellent points here. I said I have got to share this with my diamonds because she's speaking facts.
The love, because the baby wasn't brought in a love situation. It's so much that goes on into having a child, and y'all don't think it through. And y'all try to paint these visuals. Well, he wasn't like that in the beginning. Yes, he was. That's exactly how he was. And if he wasn't like that in the beginning, I'm going to only assume you did not give the situation enough time to really see who he truly was. You fell for what you felt. I like him.
That's a possibility. At the same time, like she herself admitted, people change. And maybe he wasn't like that in the beginning, but he changed. I married my husband after a year. It was over 18 months of knowing him. And he changed. He fell into hanging out with the wrong crowd, his uncles. They were cheating and on their wives, and their wives put up with it and looked the other way, and he assumed that he could get away with that with me. But he was not like that, and I gave it more than enough time to know who that man was. He was doing Bible studies. We was building each other up spiritually. He just started hanging out with the wrong crowd. How many women do you know who married a man who he was not a drug person at all? And then as time goes on, all of a sudden, he's this crackhead. He's using heroin. Things change. Situations change. Sometimes people got hooked on drugs from medications. They had an injury. They on this hydrocodone and all these other things. Unforeseen occurrences change. So the best way, honey, I would not recommend having children. Sorry.
So you thought it was a good idea to have a child with him, and now y'all can't handle what comes with these kids. This is not a game. Having kids is not a game, which is why I pass such terrible judgment, and I know I shouldn't, when I see young girls pregnant. What are you doing?
Yep.
Why are you doing this to yourself? Where is the parents at? Where is the friends at? Where is the people that can tell y'all that this is not the best decision? This is why so many people are just being born into situations where it's a lot of lunatic people out here because they are not being properly loved, properly catered to, properly taken care of. These kids is out here raising themselves because y'all don't really got what it takes to raise the kid. You outside still chasing him, and these kids are the ones suffering. And then y'all get on the internet and complain about how being a single mom sucks. Duh! Listen here. At the end of the day, being a single mom, being a mom in general, is a very hard task. It's going to suck everything that you have out of you. If you are not ready to sit down, if you are not ready to be emotionally drained, if you are not ready to not sleep at night, if you are not ready to give up all of your money, if you are not ready to exchange your wants and your needs for your baby's wants and needs, if you are not ready to emotionally give that child everything that he deserves and desires and the attention that he requires, please do not have a kid. If you cannot fathom doing it 100% by yourself, I don't care if you married, I don't care if you think y'all got longevity, I don't care if he's a good man in the beginning, I don't care about none of that. The real question is, if all of that was to end today, are you mentally capable, emotionally capable, and physically and financially able to take on the task by yourself? If the answer is no, don't have no kids. Because you're going to only be the only one suffering in the end. I promise you that. Mama's babies, daddy's maybe. I seen a young lady.
I appreciate that so much. Yeah. Yep. Like I said, I didn't start off being no single parent, and I was not a perfect parent. I made mistakes, even though a lot of times kids tend to exaggerate greatly. But as long as a parent right the wrongs and try to do what's best for the kid. Like, I set goals for my children, honey. I set goals for my children, and I had a determination. Was I a perfect parent? No, I was not. I had things that I needed to work on because I also had my own things to deal with, and that's not making excuses. Yeah, that's not to make excuses for my failings. But I think when a parent admits that they were wrong, they take accountability, and they try to right their wrongs, lighten up on your parents. Now, I'm fortunate enough that I had Jehovah God and Jesus Christ who helped me to achieve the goals that I wanted for my children. I had 5 goals for my children. And even though I had my issues with alcohol and experimenting with this drug and that drug and experimenting, I made changes. You have to change. And you can't let kids keep beating you up about whatever the hell you've already changed. I changed a lot. I left that organization. I stopped abusing alcohol. Drugs was never really no thing for me. That was like an experimental thing, trying to go under to try to see if I could help pull people out of it. And Jehovah God and Jesus Christ knew my reasonings behind that. But when it came to alcohol issues, I had that. I changed all of that. And I know the 5 goals that I set for my children, I wanted them to be God-fearing. And on Jehovah and Jesus' team, I wanted them to be educated, well-spoken, have careers, and know how to take care of themselves in my absence. And thanks to Jehovah God and Jesus Christ, I achieved all of that. And I don't see myself as such a horrible parent, because if I was such a horrible, horrible parent, I think my children would have left home at 15. They were working since they was 15. 14 even. 14 and 15. And you had kids who left home when they was 15. They had their working papers. They got themselves a room. My son left home at 33. Does that sound like a parent who was this tyrant, this monster? If I was so bad, you stayed until you were 33, sweetheart. But my point is, when you have a parent who stays, we have to have appreciation. And like this young lady brought out, being a single parent, that it's not easy. So if you don't have yourself together financially, especially financially, because even if you don't have yourself together emotionally and mentally, you could always, hire a babysitter, a caretaker to come into the home, a nanny, to give you the breaks that you need. Now, there's another video here where there's a father who says he is a good father.
TikTok
and what
yesterday.
makes him a good father is the woman asked him, how can you be a good father when you got 5 different baby daddies, mamas? And this is what he says.
I'm a great father.
Okay.
All the way around.
What makes somebody a great father? Can you really be a great father when you have 4 different kids from 4 different? How could you be there
I can't be there all the time.
So how could you say you're a great father?
That's a good question. You're actually right. I try to, I have sons, right, that I speak to all the time. It's the kids, and I'm not blaming their moms. Their moms actually pushed them. So I text my sons all the time. I try to be the demanding force in their life. I check up on them all the time. Like my 15-year-old, my 10-year-old, I'm on them. Now, my daughter, she lives here in Miami. I see her every week, all week. Her mother's an amazing mother, amazing businesswoman. She allows me to see my daughter whenever I want. And I love that. In the sense of when I say I'm a great father in the summertime, I tell all my baby moms, just give me the kids. And to be honest with you, and I'm not saying this for clout or anything, I tell my baby moms all the time, just give me the kids. Live your life. Build yourself up. Yeah. They know what I do. I'm good. If it was up to me, my best years, my best times is when all my kids are in my house. I love waking up. I don't when I have my kids in the summer, that's when I usually cuff a girl. Even when I'm single, I need one girl because in the summertime, I'm a full-time father. I'm a great father.
Okay.
All the way around.
What makes somebody a great father?
Well, you see, he plays an active part, and he takes his kids in the summertime. So mom got that whole summertime to relax and have a break, if what he say is true. We would have to hear this from his children, because men, they know how to talk that talk, honey. And now, this day and age, the millennial generation, the Generation Z, co-parenting is easy. It's easy. You have FaceTime, video chat, Zoom. So it's easy to be a part of your children's life. And like this man, Yada Awakening said, let's play him again.
You have the audacity to abandon your own children, then get into a relationship with another woman and put her children on a pedestal. How sick can you be? To turn your back on your own bloodline. You are a devil in the flesh. You are a monster of the mind. You are a walking, talking.
Battery low.
Your children over here missing you. Your children over here having mental breakdowns. Your children over here saying, Mommy, why don't Daddy love me? Why don't Daddy come over here? Why don't Daddy call me? And you're over here taking pictures and posting on social media with another woman and her children. You're not a man. And those children should forget about you because you're going to curse every step that you take while you're on this planet Earth. Any man that abandons his children and uplifts someone else's will never be successful and deserves the lowest parts of hell. Oh, praises.
I agree with you, Yada. But you have some dads who are active in their kids' life, and then you have others that are not. I would say majority of these dads are not, because, you have a lot of these boys growing up and they turn into these adult men and they have all of these daddy things that they need to work through and they need to be in counseling. But my point is also, stop having all of these men's babies, honey. You have kids with men who have felonies, who can't get a decent job, who, really? Anyway, I'm going to a fellowship meeting. And I just wanted to share this with you briefly because I felt that these are some very, very important points. Be good to your mom. She stayed on the job. She's not perfect. But as long as she's willing to fight to try to especially imitate Jesus Christ, be grateful, honey. Stop holding things against, your parents. Try to work through it. Pray for it. And please, like the young lady said, stop having kids, honey. Please. I recommend help the children that are already here. Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle.